With Robotaxi Day coming next month, let's review what Elon Musk has said of what to expect. Today, let's watch several clips of how Elon himself has described what the ride-hailing program will look like. He confirms that with each release, they're seeing significant improvements that look like an exponential curve. He also goes a bit more in detail how Tesla will be able to have a massive fleet with what he calls a combination of Uber and Airbnb. So I've asked Larry Goldberg to join us today to explain some of the things that he's saying, what their significance is, and just a little bit more detail of how he interpreted what's going to happen soon. Larry, thank you so much for joining me.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Herbert.
So the annual shareholder meeting happened, and there was a tremendous shift. Before that, there was tremendous negative sentiment. They thought people were saying that Tesla is, going to be down. People were saying they've written off next year and the following year. They were saying this is done for. I'm out of here. Lots of people left. After that shareholder meeting, people are very happy, and because he explained every single part from auto to energy to the bot to Robotaxi, and then of course the excitement for 8.8 coming next month. So just let's start off with what happened and just the way he entered that the shareholder meeting, and then we'll go and watch video clips of him talking about Robotaxi, and then I want you to explain all the parts of how Robotaxi is actually going to work based on his words that he said. He's dancing.
Hey guys. Welcome to the Tesla shareholder meeting. And I just want to start off by saying, hot damn, I love you guys. Yeah. We have the most awesome shareholder base. I mean, it's just incredible. Any public company, it's incredible. Wow. We've got a great sort of shareholder meeting here to recap the achievements of the company and tell you about where we're going. And I think it's incredible. I think we're not just opening a new chapter for Tesla, we're starting a new book. Okay.
If you have any doubt about starting a new book, look at the share price since the date of that meeting.
I don't know if that's the indicator. I don't think so, but
no, but okay. It is, and I'll tell you something. If you look at the last
earnings,
the investor call following last quarter's results, not last quarter, the first quarter's results. That investor meeting, that investor call changed the dynamic of the investor call and the post-investor call, and it led up to this meeting. Yes, the vote, the shareholder vote, and then this meeting. Yeah. And this meeting, for the first time after a major Tesla meeting, the stock didn't go down.
Right. So
you've seen a change in dynamic ever since that last quarterly call. And, if we haven't seen the shareholder base, electrified, then I don't know what it takes to electrify what it means to electrify a shareholder base. This has been amazing.
Yeah. A couple of points he made there. Just first of all, he's dancing. He's very excited. He's happy. He said that one of the greatest shareholder base of any public company. And he's actually right, because I think Alexander says there's 5 million people, retail shareholders, and that is more than any other company out there.
That's true.
Right. The only one that could be up there is GameStop, because of that kind of this rallying of these smaller retailers. But that was just like a blip and gone, but they're there.
But I'll tell you another company that has got a great shareholder base as well, and that's Berkshire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Berkshire have a very strong shareholder base, retail shareholder base, as well as institutional. I don't think they hold as many shares, but this is a very good mix. GameStop is not a good mix, and it's not a good situation in my judgment. This is a very good situation, and this really represents a really strong mixture of institutional as well as retail. And by the way, the institutional shareholders are as excited as the retail shareholders here. Yeah. We've seen a lot of very good responses from the institutional shareholders as well.
That's what's happening now. Okay, so I did a whole show on his comment about writing a new book instead of just a chapter. So we won't cover that today, but let's go right to Robotaxi. That's coming up in a month from now. And a lot of people are, debating what's going to happen, what they're expecting. Some people are overreacting, saying this thing's going to be like, I may just blow everything out of the water. And some people going, that's just another product reveal. But let's listen directly to Elon and what he says. And it's very important that we listen to that. So it's a 3-minute clip. And I'll pause it as we get to certain segments and get your thoughts on it. And I did speed this up just a little bit because Elon, right? Sometimes he speaks a little slower. So
yeah, where things are going, I think is just going to be absolutely mind blowing. We're obviously making great progress in solving the sustainable energy problem. With electric vehicles, with stationary storage, with solar, and then I think in terms of the value of the company, autonomy is just such a mind-blowing thing that, like I said, you guys understand, but I think most of the world does not yet understand. So, in talking to a lot of the sort of the big institutional investors, when they're often in like New York and they don't drive cars, so I'll be like, "Have you driven our car? Have you tried self-driving? The version 12.3?" And they're like, "Oh no, okay, well you should try it. That would be a good thing to do." And if you just plot the points on the curve of how well autonomy is progressing, and just believe the curve, it's headed towards unsupervised full self-driving very quickly at an exponential pace. If you just, yeah, so it's really as simple as that. And in fact, I'd invite you to just do it personally. Just say, okay, with each release, how many miles do you drive before you have to intervene? It's like literally that simple.
Let me pause it there. So Larry, he's confirming here what we all were expecting and hoping for, which is he's saying there's an incremental, a massive significant jump every time they have a new release of FSD, but that it's actually exponential. And that's what's critical. So if you believe him, and we found the right solution, neural nets, it's actually working. But if you don't believe him and he's exaggerating, then that's where the issue is. Where do you stand in all that?
Well, I've been driving FSD, and I have seen the improvement, and I've tracked the improvement myself. And what we've had is massive improvements. Where we are now is we're at edge case, elimination, and there are, of course, a large number of edge cases, and so the elimination of those edge cases is going to take time. But the massive improvement we've seen to date is such that, there's not a lot left to do. I think a lot of people think we're within months away from from fully autonomous driving and robotaxi. I think we're probably more than that. My own opinion is that we're going to be closer to 2025, perhaps even in the latter half of the year, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, let's listen in to the rest.
Each release, you'll see it. There's a big improvement, and it looks like an exponential. So, and it's very clear that will actually go to the point where it is actually far safer than a person driving the car. And I have some insight into the next releases, because we've got basically, for every release that's on the road, we kind of see what the next generation release is and a little bit about the release after that. So we have some insight into where it's going, and it's really amazing. No question whatsoever that will far exceed human safety. Yeah, no question.
Okay, so Larry, he's talking about the couple things he said there was that it's going to be far exceed human safety. Is that you
I think it already exceeds. I think it's already exceeding human safety. there's no doubt that FSD for many drivers have saved them from very difficult situations. Now, it's true that even without FSD, the car has got a lot of safety features that are dependent upon the automated systems in the car. But in FSD, I mean, I know for a fact that I have, and my brother has, both of us have had ourselves saved from situations where we were not aware of what was going on. So there's no doubt that FSD is already safer than the average driver, and FSD supervised is safer than the average driver. When autonomy comes, I feel very confident that the autonomous Tesla is going to be much safer than the average driver.
That's the big metric that we need to be seeing. So he feels confident about that.
And I think, I have mentioned this, but like sometimes it's like helpful to sort of reiterate and connect some of the dots. Because sometimes people wonder, well, how do you go from this big fleet to actually monetizing the fleet in an autonomous situation? And it's actually a combination of it's like Airbnb and Uber to some degree. So like there'll be some cars that Tesla owns itself, it's kind of like an Uber fashion. But then for the fleet that is owned by our customers, it will be like an Airbnb thing. You can add or subtract your car to the fleet whenever you want. So you can say, like, I'm going away for a week. At just one tap on your Tesla app, your car gets added to the fleet, and it just makes money for you while you're gone. Yeah. So you can say you can add it to the fleet for a few hours, for a few days, for a few weeks. Whenever you want it back, you can say, come back, and the car will come right back. And I'm highly confident that it will far exceed the value, the revenue made by the owner of the car will far exceed the actual monthly payment.
Okay, that's a big statement. So this is the part I need you to break down for me, because there's a lot of confusion out there. So, okay, so let's start. First, he said, right, in order to do ride hailing, you need to have a huge fleet. You can't just start with 10 or 100. You need lots. And he goes, well, the way we're going to do it is that it's going to be part Uber, part Airbnb. The way I interpret that is that, and then he said, the next sentence was, we'll own some of those cars. That's like Uber. But you can also be Airbnb, where if my customers like you and me, we both own Teslas, we could, if we decide, put it into the network, and then with a tap, it says, okay, go ahead and take it. It could be for an hour, it could be for a week. He said like that. So that's what I heard him say, right?
Yeah, I think there's going to be multiple tiers. I think there are going to be Tesla-owned vehicles that Tesla will put on the road. There are going to be Uber-owned vehicles that Uber are going to put on the road.
Yep.
And then there are going to be you and me who may own cars. I have a friend who owns 20 Teslas.
Yep.
And right now he has drivers driving them around. Well, he's going to turn those into, operational cars. And then there's going to be the individual who decides, you know what, I don't drive my car that much, or I do drive my car, but it sits most of the day at the office. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm either going to use the Tesla network to put it on the road, or I'm going to run it myself, depending on the circumstance, the geography he or she lives in, the nature of what they're going to do. So there's going to be a wide range. The point is the Uber app is going to support the Uber app. The Tesla app is going to support all those modes. And because Tesla's providing the software and because Tesla's operating the software, it is going to be seamless. When you get in a Robotaxi, whether, our friend Herbert owns that car, whether Uber owns that car, whether Tesla owns that car, or Larry owns that car, it'll be seamless to you. You'll be calling a Tesla Robotaxi. You'll be getting in a Tesla Robotaxi. It'll drive you to that location, and it'll be clean and safe as every other Tesla car on the road.
Yeah.
That's the system I believe Elon wants to implement.
Yeah. And there's a patent that I've been going through in detail. It's just incredible how you can do automatic detection of environment in the car, know if it needs to be sanitized. And there's all these different ways they're going to clean and sanitize the car. Brilliant. Okay. So the part that a lot of misunderstanding, some people think when they say Uber, some people are thinking that means supervised ride hailing. which is basically what Uber is, right? You use the app, you order a car, but there's a person there. Like I would actually be driving my car, and then I'm going to be the driver for somebody. I'm like, there's no way Tesla's going to launch a supervised ride-hailing service. But they need to do that because they need to test the app. They need to test the last mile of where to drive. And no, that's not going to happen. But that's a big debate I'm having with a lot of people.
Yeah, look, it's not that important to debate. You know, the launch and the tactics of the strategy are not important. If you believe that they have to have some sort of supervision at first, well, that's your religion. If you believe that they don't have to have one, that's another religion. I think Tesla will make those decisions. I think they probably have already made that decision. We'll hear about it in 8.8. I don't think it's that important. I think what is important is the end. And the end picture is, you know, this fleet of robotaxis, autonomous, 100% autonomous, and available on a global basis. That's the end result. And it may take 3 years to get there. It may take 1 year to get there. It may take 5 years to get there. But the power of the end result is absolutely clear.
Okay. I'm going to play the clip, a little piece of the clip again. And this last bit, I think, is so powerful. I want us to repeat it again because we don't want to not listen to this bit. Okay. This is what I think.
So you can say, you can add it to the fleet for a few hours, for a few days, for a few weeks. Whenever you want it back, you can say, come back, and car will come right back. And I'm highly confident that it will far exceed the value, like the revenue made by the owner of the car will far exceed the actual monthly payment.
I'm highly confident that the revenue that the owner of the car will far exceed the monthly revenue of the payment. That just completely changes the game. You can make money owning a car. You don't even have to pay to own the car. Why would anybody buy any other car ever? If and one's at a massive expense, $50,000. One is at the very least a break even, and the other one is like you're actually making money now. This is right. We can't like ignore what he just said there. That's the biggest part.
You can't ignore it, but you have to understand it's going to take time to get there. So it's not a tomorrow thing. It's the next day.
It's the next year, but come on, it's not that far
next
away.
Year or the next, in 3 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very powerful concept, and it's a very, very transformative concept. It's going to change the nature of how we get around, globally. It's not going to be global at first. It's going to take time to establish itself in the US, but it's a very powerful idea.
So the other debate I've been having was why would Tesla's continue selling cars if they're making so much money in Robotaxi? But the way he said that was they will make more money than the monthly payment. So if consumers still buy the car, but yet so they spend the money, so Tesla will make money on the car sales, but also a revenue share, and he's very happy with just that. So that's what's going to happen.
You have to look at each business independently. You have to look at a car manufacturer as a car manufacturer. You have to look at a robotaxi business as a robotaxi business. And the car manufacturer is providing vehicles to all of these markets. The robotaxi service is providing robotaxis, and it has multiple forms of ownership. The owner of a car has a car and has multiple outlets in terms of revenue for that car. They're all separate things. And they're all valid things. So, it's not, there isn't one market and one customer and, one methodology. There's all these striated businesses running at the same time.
All right, let's finish off the rest.
And then Tesla will obviously take a rev share on that, but most of the money will go to the owner of the car. And this is actually going to work. This is what will happen. So mark my words. This is simply a matter of time. Now, admittedly, I'm a little optimistic sometimes. So I don't have complete lack of self-awareness. But if I wasn't optimistic, this wouldn't exist. This factory wouldn't exist. So.
Mark my words.
He doesn't have a complete lack of self-awareness. he has a complete lack of awareness of any weakness of his self-awareness.
Yeah, but first of all, mark my words, this is going to happen. And then he goes, okay, I know that I've said things a little early, but yeah, but it's also true. If you have this argument and and you say, okay, let's create a table, and you write down on your side all the times he has said something that has never happened, and I write down on the other side that all the things he said that has happened, big things, like big transformative I will win that list. The only time you might say is that, oh, that was late. That's not the point. The point is, will it happen? And he goes, mark my words, this is what's going to happen. He's pretty good about that, right? I bet that's what I'm doing. I'm investing in his companies. I'm betting that that's going to happen. What do you say?
Every investor is betting on what Elon sees in the future, not on what Elon is doing now. Although what he's doing now was 10 years ago considered impossible on every front. You only have to go back 1 decade to see how impossible what he's doing now in all his companies were. I mean, think about it. I mean, we should do a show one day about exactly what was occurring 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago in 1914, he projected building a battery company, a battery factory, the likes of which the world had never seen, and everybody said it was impossible. And he said he was going to build a car that was going to sell 500,000 EVs a year. And everybody said it was going to be impossible. We should go back 10 years and do that. And then talk about what he's talking about now and where we'll be in 10 years' time. And I know everybody's interested in to happen next month or next year or the next 2 years or so on and so forth. I'm thinking in the decades, in decadal terms.
I found this that just was printed today. I don't know when we'll publish this show, but this is pretty cool. So Sawyer Merritt, I don't know if you can see this. He said, every Tesla Megapack battery has the words made on Earth by humans stamped on it. So every Megapack factory says battery, you can see made on Earth by humans. Steve Mark Ryan said, wait till they have it say made on Mars by Optimus. And Elon says, gonna happen. That's going to happen.
He didn't say which decade, but it's going to happen.
Someday on Mars, Optimus bots will be making these Megapack factories on Mars. And that's what they'll say, made. I mean, that's funny. Like, again, you wonder why they even put made on Earth by humans. Why would you put that? Right?
Right.
They already are thinking someday that they'll say made on Mars by humans or made by Mars by bots. It's funny. I don't, like they're really thinking so far ahead.
Yeah. And people don't understand the power of that projection. They just don't.
Right.
They think in terms of tomorrow, and they don't think in terms of next decade. And that's what separates Elon from most of us. He thinks in decadal terms. He thinks in millennia terms, in terms of millennia.
Wow.
And none of us do, really.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
That's amazing. Okay, there you go. We parsed through what he said, and there's so many little things he said that was important for us to just hear again. Number one. Yeah.
It is so great to be alive at the same time as Elon Musk.
It is, isn't it? Every word he says, we're breaking apart, but then we watch it happen in our time frame. And that's the fun thing. You're saying that it's like, I don't have to wait that long before I see. Here I am in 10 years following the company in 2012. We've got electric vehicles now. What he said, right? He said at some point, electric vehicles will be every car company's doing it. It's happening. We've got bots being made. We're on the brink of Robotaxi, which was a promise made in 2018. I mean, the joke was he said it every year, but reality is, it doesn't matter. We're like here, and it's in our lifetime. And it's like, not that long, really. Honestly, 5 years, 6 years. That's not for something miraculous as self-driving cars. Okay, anyways, it's fun. Thank you, Larry. That is a lot of fun. Follow him on X at TESLA Larry. Thank you. Bye, everybody. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.